Her incredible success. Today, Olivia returned to the city of her youth. She's here on an unofficial, non-promotional visit that coincides with the opening of her latest film, the million-dollar musical fantasy, Xanadu. Also starring Gene Kelly, by the way, a superstar unto himself whose career is practically a history of the American screen. But Olivia is often described as the girl next door. I wish I had a girl next door like her. But it's a great thrill to have her here. Ladies and gentlemen, Olivia Newton-John. Here. How are you?
I'm great. That was nice. Thank you. Embarrassed me.
Why? You still get embarrassed over those kind of things.
Yes,
you are.
sometimes.
You are a star, you know. They tell you. Busy day today?
Yes, very busy day today. Where am I? This is my...
You know, to tell you the truth, you do look a little bit tired. You do.
Really?
Have they grabbed you since this morning and run you, have they?
Yes, well, we had a really late night last night because I had the opening in Sydney last night, and then we had to catch a very early plane this morning, so I kind of sleepwalked onto the plane, and then I had a press conference when I got here, and then radio interviews since then, and then a reception in the city square, and then the opening, and yeah. Just
Fantastic.
a normal day, you know.
The city square reception, excuse me, I feel myself leaking here a little bit. I'm going to do this, take care of this while I talk to you. They said the reception in the city, you got the key to the city today.
I did.
Yes,
yeah.
and a big crowd out there as well.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. Was there it is. It's got some sparklers out there. Is that because of the number that you did on the command performance, or was that just a greeting for you? Or what does that
I think
mean?
it was just a greeting. It was beautiful to look at.
Look at that. Isn't that magnificent?
Really
All those
you
people.
got pickies.
Oh, yeah. You haven't seen this yet?
No, I haven't seen this. This only
Oh,
happened.
there you are. That's Olivia on the right.
Yeah. I'm the one without the gold.
She's from Australia, a superstar from Australia. That's her on the right there, yes.
That was really an amazing experience. The people were so warm and friendly and everything. There were a lot of them there. I was amazed.
Yes?
I thought it would be embarrassing if I got there and there's no one there.
Oh, yeah?
Are you sure there are enough people?
Yes, our own news department did all of this tonight,
She was
and then
so
they
cute,
let
that
us
little
go.
girl.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't know what to say to me. She just went, I said, do you want to give me those flowers? She'd forgotten why she was there. She was so
Yeah. She had got a friend Mickey with her, too. Huh? We're sort of lucky to have you here because of this strike in the United States, they tell me.
Yes, well, officially I'm on strike. The first time in my life I've ever been on strike. But as an actress I am, so-called actress. Screen Actors Guild, which is I'm a part of. But when they told me that the trip to Australia was going to be cancelled, I said, you're kidding, I'm going. Because, you know, I was looking forward to coming back anyway. And so I sort of came for the soundtrack, which is the same name as the movie, so I'm covered.
Right. Well, there is a soundtrack album, Xanadu, and
Yes.
you're on it. You have to, promote it as
I
well.
have to promote that.
Sure. Certainly.
Yes, certainly. That's why I'm here.
You say when you mentioned screen acting before, you sort of put your head down a little bit. Is that where are you screen acting?
It's just new for me. It's a new title, actress. I always thought of myself as a singer, but now I suppose I have to think of myself as an actress as well.
There was a report that Alan Carr was on here, and then there was a report that you and Alan Carr had an argument, and then you made up on the plane going back. I think it was around the time of the last command performance. Is that true? Did you fly back in?
Yeah, coming from Los Angeles to here, we hadn't seen each other for a while.
Yes.
And we ran into each other on the plane, and we ended up sitting on the floor in first class eating spaghetti on the floor, which I'd taken with me, like this little packed lunch. And we talked half the way.
You took food with you on the plane?
Yeah, well, usually the food's pretty terrible. Excuse me, airlines, don't mean to be rude, but usually it's very heavy, so I take something with me.
So you take your own?
Yeah.
You don't put an electric pot with spaghetti in it and do all of that?
No, cold cuts and things like that.
Oh, I see. I could see
Cold
little
cuts.
hibachi cooking things in the middle of the plane. It'd be lovely, you know?
Yeah.
Well, Gene Kelly, I want to talk about working with Gene Kelly. For most people, it would be the ambition of a lifetime to have this man walk in and then to have to dance with him as well.
I know. Well, when first started rehearsals for the film, Gene said that he wouldn't dance and he wouldn't sing. He said, "No, I'm not going to sing or touch a toe. I'm just going to act, And halfway through the film, I think he got the bug and he changed his mind, and that's when I really got nervous because I thought, oh no, I've got to dance with him. And it hadn't occurred to me that I might have to. And so it was kind of coincidence that about 2 months before I found the script, I started doing tap dancing for fun, really, because I just enjoyed it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So foolishly I said, why don't we do a tap number? And before I knew it, I was in one.
Is that right?
With Gene, yeah.
But I understand he's very patient. I remember a story a long time ago that was in a book Frank Sinatra had written, where he said that he had never danced in a musical and he wanted to be in it, and he went, and Gene Kelly was the first one to let him dance or teach him to dance in a movie, and he said he was the kindest man, ever took all the time in the world. Was he the same with you?
He's amazing. Yeah. He's really patient, and he wouldn't let me do anything that didn't look good. So we rehearsed in front of mirrors, and if movements weren't right, he'd correct them so that they were comfortable for both of us, and it was great. And we spent a lot of time because he actually directed that segment himself, and he choreographed it with one of the choreographers. But he flew walls out so that he'd get nice long shots with the cameras going around, and it was an amazing experience because he's so professional and from the old school where you really rehearse every step. I mean, I knew where my feet were going to be. Each movement.
And how old is he now?
68. And he dances. He's fantastic.
Yeah. I saw a promotional piece of film that they sent to me about Xanadu, and he's on roller skates in this as well.
I know. And when we asked him to roller skate, I thought he was going to say, "You must be joking," but he said, "Sure." I said, "I'll get my old ones out," because he told me that 40 years ago, or maybe not quite that long, but in the 40s he made a movie where he did a tap dance on roller skates. So I think he used to dance with his brother.
I vaguely remember that from him. We're not trying to think what movie that was. I remember him, doing skating down the street. He was.
And so for him it was, he did it a long time ago. We think it's new, but it's been done before.
What is this story I saw in the paper that you went out and just walked along by the beach or something, and nobody recognized you?
Yeah, I went to Manly on the ferry, had some fish and chips.
Yeah? Were you on your own or with other people?
No, I was with my stepmother and my little brother and sister and some friends of mine that travel with me from America.
Yeah.
And we'd just flown in, and, like 14 hours it was on the plane, we need some fresh air, so we just bowled down there. I just put some sneakers on, some sunglasses, and kind of looked, at them. No one took much notice, but it was funny because people, they go, and I usually managed to give them a dumb enough look so they think couldn't possibly be. She couldn't. We went to, when we were over on the little promenade where all the fish and chip shop, I went to look at the sharks and the turtles and all that kind of thing. And I went to a chemist shop, and the lady in there said, "Geez, you really look like Olivia Newton-John. People must tell you that all the time." I said, "Yeah, they do. I get that all the time." I must feel very silly. I apologise for being so glib. I couldn't help it.
That's lovely. Let me ask you another question on a more personal basis. I'm not being prying. I'm not a Hollywood Reporter or a New York Inquirer or any of that. But why do we never read about romance with Olivia Newton-John? You never hear about romance. Is it a guarded secret? Is there invasion of your privacy? Is there a romance? Isn't there?
I feel it is an invasion of privacy because it's the one part of my life it's the only part of my life that isn't for the public. I mean, everything else that I do, when I sing, when I make a movie, or when I go out in public, that's, there for the press and whoever. But there are parts of your life you like to keep to yourself, and it's very hard. And relationships in America, as you know, especially in Hollywood, are very hard to keep together because there's so much outside pressure and so much gossip.
That's not exclusive to America, my dear.
No, happens here too?
Yes, it certainly does.
Well, I've seen it happen to so many people that I figure I don't like to talk about, who I'm going out with. But it really doesn't make any difference whether I talk about it or not because I've been linked up with people that I don't even know. And
have you ever been linked up with anybody that you would like to know? That's about.
For instance, I think every man that I've sung with or acted with or worked with, there's been a romantic story that I've read about a couple of months later. I could have had a great time,
Is it? Would you say that you would avoid I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I mean, that you would avoid a show business relationship. That would have a tendency to bring more spotlight onto it, wouldn't it? I mean, if you were, for example, and you're not, so I will say this up front, she's not in love with John Travolta. But if you were to be in love with John Travolta and had a romance, I mean, that certainly would put you on the front pages a lot heavier. Why are you smiling? Do you have a romance with John Travolta? No?
You'll never know.
No, I won't. Wouldn't that have a tendency to put it more into the public eye if it was show business?
Yes, it would, but, I suppose if there was a romance with someone like John Travolta, you'd protect your privacy. He's a private person too. I'm not putting words into my mouth either.
I understand. Yeah.
Hi, John. No, he might be watching.
Yes, that's right. He's here.
Yeah.
He's here on Monday. We're going to have him here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to talk to you about him too because I want to know what to ask him about.
Okay.
And
You can ask me about these private romances.
His private romances.
I'm kidding.
Oh. Well, if you're only kidding, we're not coming back with any more of that. We'll just do it now.
No.
We're going to take a commercial break, and then when we come back, I want to talk to you some more, because I want to talk to you about your house on the beach and all the animals you live with.
Okay.
This is not a romance. They're real animals. We'll be back with Olivia in a minute. Hang in there, will you? Okay.
You've never seen a place like this. Olivia Newton-John, Gene Kelly, songs by the Electric Light Orchestra, Xanadu, where boy meets girl and your dreams come true. Xanadu.
Again, and not so much to put you on the spot, Olivia, but you're always you always manage to mention Australia and Australia being your home, and you even say that overseas, And a lot of other people don't do that, and I don't know why. Why is it strong ties with here? I hear talk you're coming back to live here or something 6 months a year.
I'd like to spend a lot more time here because I'm trying to arrange my career now so that I can plan it, And if I could, say, do an album a year, which is what I'm doing really now, and maybe a film if I can find one, I'll be able to plan it that way so I'll be able to have more time here because it's nice to come back because you feel the roots and I sound like everybody else. It's such a nice feeling, and well, I've forgotten the beginning of the question.
Well, it's just about the being well, it was
what was it?
What'd you just ask me? being Australian, being
Australian.
home,
yeah. Well, people always ask me for years. They always ask me what my accent is, and where do you come from and everything. And people are very interested in Australia because it's such a long way away that it's out of a lot of people's budgets to be able to travel here. It's not like if you're in England, you can go to Europe on a bus holiday or something. You'd be very far pushed to get to Australia that way. So,
especially on a bus.
Especially on a bus, yeah. And so people are very curious, and I've always felt Australian, even though I am actually English. That's my roots. I moved here when I was 5, and I started with an Australian accent. I was the only one in the family with an Australian accent. My father's terribly British, and my mother has a German accent. My sister and brother, my brother actually has an Aussie accent now, but I was felt Australian.
That happens to a lot of families. You'll hear an Italian family in Australia with the mother and father have Italian accents, and the son and the daughter have got these really thick, broad Australian accents. It's a bit incongruous, but good too. I mean, it shows the generations really separates them.
But I was always asked about my accent, and then also why, as I speak with an Australian accent, why I sing with an American one. So I think every interview I'm always asked about my accent and about Australia, so I do feel proud of it. So I like to talk about it, and my show business beginnings were here, my training ground was here, and I feel good about it. So
it's always good when you're a great not only ambassador but an example of Australian womanhood overseas, because whenever they ask about Australian women, they say, are they good looking? I always say, Olivia Newton-John? They always go, yeah. I say, that's one we threw out. That's good. What about, you met Jack Thompson last night. He's one of my favorite people in the whole world, a guy that's really stuck. You talk about being Australian. I mean, he's really stuck by the Australian film industry in a very heavy way, and he will tenaciously, he's hanging on to the idea that Australian films can sell overseas, you know.
He's a fine actor. Actually, I must apologise to him because there were so many people last night, everyone was coming up and saying, how do you do? And this gentleman came up and shook my hand and said, thank you for the movie. I said, fine, turned away. And somebody said, that's Jack Thompson. And I didn't recognise him because he looks much younger off the screen, because I've seen him in some movies, but he looks older. I told him that, so I was forgiven.
Jack always looks different. He lives with 2 women. And, it depends on which side of the bed they get up on. Sorry about that.
Well, anyway, he looks young and very tanned, and we had a chat about the industry because I really would like to maybe do a film here sometime.
Oh, I wish you would. You don't know what you could do if you would do a film. You'd put it right on the map if you did a film here. It'd be great.
Well, I think it's happening anyway. I think without my help, Australian movies are getting very good response. I mean, My Brilliant Career is doing very good box office, I believe.
Yeah, they tell me in Beverly Hills it says lines outside waiting to get into My Brilliant Career.
Picnic at Hanging Rock, which was the first Australian film I saw, really, I think that's fantastic. And the quality is really high. I think keep it up, we'll get there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Malibu, a lot of people may not know where Malibu is. Malibu is a beach community, just on the coast outside of, it's on the other side of Beverly Hills. But,
yeah.
And that's where you live.
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's very pretty Los Angeles. It's a basin. There's the sea and the ocean and then mountains, which is what causes the smog problem, but it looks pretty. Yeah. And I live in the hills above the ocean.
Overlooking the ocean?
On a good day.
On a good day, yeah.
When the trees have lost their leaves, I have these neighbours' trees. When I bought the house, the trees were very little. And as the trees have grown, I'm getting less and less view.
I see.
That's very nice.
And you have all these animals, 87 horses and 900 dogs. I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
How many?
No, you're not. It seems like that sometimes.
Well, you got 5 horses.
Yeah, 5 horses, and at the moment I have 8 dogs. And
what
by
kind
the time
of dogs?
I get back, I never know how many there'll be there.
It's a good thing you don't keep rabbits. Yeah.
No, I always seem to take in strays and dogs that need to stay somewhere. And a friend of mine.
What's the dog do? Knock on your door? Hi. I'd like to stay somewhere.
Just about.
Yeah?
I think they heard about my place or something. I have.
You just conjure up funny pictures of a dog in Malibu on the beach. Got nowhere to live? Go see the blonde down the corner.
I do.
Hi, got a biscuit?
Do you know that I have a deep freeze just for my dog food? Really? I just thought of that as you said that. Yeah.
A deep freeze for your dog food?
Yeah, because, I mean, only in Hollywood could this happen. Maybe you have this in Australia, but they have a delivery service for dog food, which is frozen. And they have all different flavours like chicken, beef. If your dog doesn't like, whatever.
Oh,
and it's got everything in it. I mean, it's not phenomenally expensive or anything. It's just a different way of feeding them. It's got every vitamin and mineral in it that you need. So I had to have somewhere to put it. So I had to get this deep freeze. I just thought it's rather ludicrous.
And who feeds all these animals? You don't sit there every day and feed all these dogs.
No, they have a nanny.
They have a nanny?
Well, with the horses, you can't just let them. They're very delicate.
Why don't you feed the dogs to the horses? No, please. Don't write us any letters. Don't write us any letters. It's a joke. We're only fooling you.
No, well, horses are, strange enough, they're very huge, but they're very delicate animals, and they have to be very carefully looked after. So I have to have someone to exercise them and feed them when I'm not there.
Well, they don't stay in your house, the horses.
Just about. No, they have a stable. They have stables. They have their own little stables, and they have paddocks to be turned out in. But they're a full-time job, and I have.
Why do you have horses? Do you ride a lot?
I love them.
Do you ride, or do you just stand around and say, I own these horses there?
No, I ride.
Yeah.
I can go straight up my back gate onto trails up into the mountains. It's really beautiful.
And do the dogs go with you when you ride?
Every day.
You go riding on your horse with your dogs coming behind you.
I feel very safe.
You certainly should. I should think so. They're all going to protect their meal ticket come hell or high water. Either that or say, they got her, go protect the freezer. Right? Right, yes.
No, I have. You want to hear the array of different breeds?
Yes, I want to hear the array.
Okay, I have a Great Dane.
Yes. That's your first one.
Actually, I have more than 8 dogs. I have another 2 that live at another house because, sometimes male dogs grow up and they don't get on.
Oh.
Well, 2 of my Great Danes don't get on, and one of them nearly killed the other one, so I had to put him somewhere else with his sister, who I also have. So I have 3 Great Danes. An Irish setter.
Dumb. I used to own them. No, they are dumb. They're wacky
He
dogs.
is the smartest dog I have.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. If the Irish Setter is the smartest dog you got, you've got problems. Go ahead.
No, this dog is brilliant.
Yes?
You just watch it. He's a fantastic dog.
Yeah.
And I have, hold on, what else? 2 Dobermans, a black one and a brown one.
Yeah.
Kansas and Boston. And I have,
Kansas and Boston. That's
right.
the names?
Yeah.
I'm getting an idea about all these animals now, where they get the names from.
Yeah, I have a English setter, which is the little white ones with the brown markings.
What's
on
his
it.
name?
Her name is Dottie.
Dottie.
You getting a better idea now?
Yes, right, yeah.
She had puppies, and so I have one of her puppies also. Now that was an accident.
An old story, Olivia.
No, I sent her off to the kennel, and when she got back from the kennel, she was getting larger every day, and I kept thinking, that's really strange, because she was always a skinny dog. And, talk about dumb. You think the dogs are dumb. What about me?
You sent your... It's like sending your kid away to camp and it comes back expecting a baby. Right?
Anyway, she had a pup, and so I have her pup, and then I have, hold on, what else have I missed out? 2 half coyotes, and they are like a dingo. You know, they're half wild dog. And they were found at the side of the road starving. So I took them in and...
A shame about coyotes. I often feel sorry for coyotes because as population moved into Los Angeles, those dogs had to go to the hills, and then there aren't any hills left either. They have no place to go.
It's sad because, you know, they steal domestic cats and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
People try to shoot them, but they're starving, you know.
Did you know that we had John Travolta here tonight?
No.
You didn't know that?
No.
We have him here.
You do not.
Yes, we do.
You do?
Yes. Tell John to come out here. Tell John to come out here.
The
Aren't you? But how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Oh, I want to hear just a... We don't really have a little time. I want to hear about the old days now. Now, he was on here telling stories that you and his wife, Patty, and Pat Carroll used to hang around milk bars saying things like, where are all the good guys gone?
You've been telling tales.
I told him not the full truth.
Oh. Actually, I'm glad you're here tonight because I really wanted you to do it. I had a fantastic idea for a movie.
Yeah?
With you and me.
Sure, what's the idea?
It's about this guy who, I think he works in a discotheque or something.
Yeah. He falls madly in love with you and he goes to his
Red
rock.
Rock, yeah.
That's my girl. I'd like you to know, Liv, that I am almost dying because of you. How do you wear leather? Hey, you'd better start. How do you wear leather?
Don't ask me. I don't know anything about
It
it.
doesn't breathe.
Talcum powder inside quick.
Then whip them off.
Those shoes,
You have
you
to
like
have
them?
these shoes.
yes. You remember those,
I
don't you?
remember those, yeah.
Okay. I always wore them. I used to walk in the milk bar. Hi, Patty.
Hey, listen, we want to bring out a man also that would like to say hello to you. Is he there now? Is he there?
I think he's fast asleep, actually.
Is he? Yes. We always tease Eric about the fact that he's getting on a little bit in age, and that we send him away to places where he can make.
You are
He was
amazing.
making earrings inside out of some of the chairs. A little bit of therapy there, but he would like to come out and say hello to you because all day long that's all he's been saying. Really, been sitting inside saying, "I want to meet Olivia." But Bert and I love him. He is truly one of the men I think we respect the most. I think you've had a much longer relationship with him than I did too. So say hello to Sir Eric Pierce, will you?
She's always been my girl. Favorite
Don, you didn't tell me that Eric was wearing costume too.
I looked today and Eric's got a suit on with bathing pants.
You are
They're
mean
very
to
mean
him.
to me.
We're mean to him. No,
Yes, you're
no.
mean to
We
him.
have a wonderful time.
That's magnificent. Is she as nice as Melba?
Tell the truth. Were you not saying all day, when am I going to get to meet Olivia?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I was, I mean.
That's right. You are or you am?
I admire her tremendously.
Yes.
And I don't mind saying publicly that I think she's done more than any one single artist I can think of within the last decade, anyhow, for Australia.
I think so, too.
Thank you.
I promise.
You're amazing. You know, you get a character on. You've been assuming this character.
I'm just trying to work out who's the old guy.
I tell you what, he stinks. He's been chewing
Can't be a
gum or
signary.
something.
It maybe even be a pacemaker.
Oh, don't. Archie, Uncle dear, don't.
How do you say this?
Not too much excitement.
Somebody
Olivia.
came.
He's a day-to-day
Somebody
proposition. Eric is the original joke. He picks up the paper, reads the death column. If he's not there, he gets up.
Somebody saw me in the street about a month ago, I think it was. Awfully nice person, and came up to me and said, "Hello, it is nice to meet you. I've never met you in the flesh. And you don't have
You should have been
crutches
wearing
now."
something.
The lady, this is true. The lady said to him, "You don't have crutches anymore." She keeps hearing you and I do lines. I heard she says you don't have
That's
crutches.
what she said. He's always saying that I've lost my crutches.
That's me. Actually, I have to say that I have been watching Sir Eric for a long time, and I think he looks younger than when I last left.
He certainly
here.
does. I was
Looks
talking to him this afternoon. He
fantastic.
looks great. Yeah.
Darling, when we were engaged, you used to call me Eric.
I wish that you would all put your hands together and thank very much this. As I said this afternoon, I mean earlier in the show, I really meant it. This lady has had some schedule, and she's made the time to come in here and talk with us. We'll be talking more with Sir Eric after we take the next break. Bertram, thank you very much. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. We got more with Bert. And for you, kid, thank you. We'll be back with great business and a lot more entertainment for you. So